Hello again, Floyd here. It is October the 3rd, 2025 at 4:42 in the morning. And I'm continuing to do a moderation on some messages I did up to 11 years ago. And it's working out pretty good. Actually, I'm enjoying it. I'm able to update and clarify some things that I spoke 11 years ago. And so this one here is from September the 10th of 2014, 11 years ago, and it's another one of my live meetings that I had. And this one is on secrets and delayed gratification. So let's get into it and let's see what we got.
Okay, here we go. We're all set, all geared up. Everything's turned on. Okay, everything's turned on. So, gee, I had quite a week. I don't know about you, but man, that rain couldn't get over around my fire pit. And I was thinking that I was trying to do stuff in the house, and it just wasn't working. I was trying, and I found out, okay, that's me. He's telling me it's raining. Take some time off, because I did about in 4 weeks I must have done almost 40 recordings.
That's talking about these messages that I've done are I did these out around my campfire, Mount Uniac. I would just go out, put the recorder on, put the fire on, put the recorder on, push record, and walk and talk. And that's what I'm referring to. You hear a fire going in the background sometimes, crackling away. That's where these messages came from. And me walking around anywhere's from, it had to be dark. So anywhere from like 10 o'clock at night till 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, I could be out there, him drawing messages through to me. So that's what I'm referring to there. So let's enjoy this.
Okay, downloads, right? So that's what the message he gave me was, take the time off. You've got enough right now. You know, that was a deadline we were trying to make, right? And so then last night, I was sitting there, and so we do 7 commandments. Last night, I finished all the 10 commandments last night, and I'll tell you, it's really good stuff.
That'll be coming up soon. Now that I figure out how to do this, how to get these audios on there by doing this narrative on it. That 10 Commandments, I'll be doing that probably pretty soon. Now that it's come up, I may do that next because it's come up on this video. And that's some real interesting teaching there. You'll want to look forward to that. You'll learn a lot of stuff in that you're just not hearing what that actually is saying. You know, he says a lot of people know what my word says, but few know what it means. Let's carry on.
I was like, I listened to it all again today. Tonight we're going to start off, we're going to talk about something, and it's going to talk about, you have any secrets? Got any secrets? Guess what? There never have been, and there never will be any secrets, because God knows everything, okay? He knows everything that's going on everywhere. So when people think that they have secrets, now I'm speaking to you guys, but I'm also speaking this to record, okay? Because it's one of the topics that he gave me, and I haven't recorded this topic yet, okay? But what he says, you know, people who think they have secrets, he says, if they realize that there are no secrets, that everything that you do and everything that you say, he sees it and he hears it, kind of changes your perspective on things. Okay, and he says, you know, tell people, he says, when you look, if you think you have a secret, look in the mirror and just picture that person in the mirror as being God looking back at you, because you and him know everything about you. So so when people they think they have secrets and they're the only ones that know it, that's the point. You don't. So don't keep any secrets. Don't do things that you think you have to keep as a secret, because it's already been exposed. Okay? So, and that can affect a lot of things in your life. When you really let that settle in, and you know every thought you have, every action that you take doesn't go unseen. All the back talking, when you talk about somebody else behind their back, anything you do that degrades anybody else, there's no secrets. He knows it all, and you will pay for those things. Okay, it's not that he's going to take your salvation away, but he'll put things, he will discipline you for doing those things, because those are outside of his word. Okay, if you're not helping build up your brother and sister, then you need to, because that's what he wants us to do.
He's saying, you got to be conscious of who you say you represent. You say you're a child of God, or you call yourself a Christian or whatever, you got to realize what you say you're representing, and people out there are looking at you as his representative, and that's why a lot of people are turned away from the church, because they see the people who say they represent him, and they don't like what they see, and neither does the Father.
Wants us to build each other up, not tear each other down. You see, when you remind people of negative things in their life, guess what? They'll never go away. They will never disappear if you're reminding other people or if you're reminding yourself. If you have something in your life and you think, well, that's not right, I know God's not going to like that, and you keep telling yourself that, that's never going to go away until you turn that over to him. Until you repent of that and give it to him and forget it. It's done. It's gone as soon as you turn it over to him. But if you are like talking with other people, like I did a tape on children about it was in the Ten Commandments about the responsibility of parents to the children. If you have children and all that you're doing is reminding them of the mistakes that they're making or the negative things that are in their life, they're never going to be a positive person. And those things will never disappear. But if you take and edify somebody or children on the positive things that they do, those negative things will just disappear. Those kids that are acting up and misbehaving, they're going to keep on doing that as long as you're going to remind them of that negative in their life. But if you only edify them on and bring to their mind the positive things that they're doing, you see, children want the acceptance of their parents, okay? We want the acceptance of God, our Father, okay? So the more recognition that the children get for the positive things to do, they're only going to want to do positive things because they love the recognition, you see? But if you trample on them and put them down all the time, then you're turning the same thing. You're going to get more of that, okay? Because you're persecuting them and they're going to rebel, you see? But if you take the positives and you don't mention those bad things, they'll just disappear because they want that acceptance by their parents. It's just like we want the acceptance of God. Can you imagine if God only remembered the bad things that we did? We're in trouble. I know I am. Okay, if he only's going to remember the bad things that I've done in this life, I'm in trouble. But you see, he's not like that. And his fatherhood is a representative for us as parents. You see, he's the ultimate father. We're supposed to take his examples when we raise our children. That's why we're supposed to bring children up in the knowledge of God.
And parents, it helps if you know what that knowledge is. Because if you don't have that, then it's hard for you to bring your children up on those principles, and you're probably caught up in exactly what he's describing here right now. Children that are acting up because you're reacting to them acting like children instead of finding that thing to edify them with. Think about it.
Okay, and if a parent doesn't do that, you are breaking the laws of God because that's your responsibility as a parent. That's so when the children get up, like, kids go through teenage years, and sometimes they'll fall away. They won't go to church. It doesn't seem like they have any interest at all. But if you brought them up on the knowledge, he says, when they get older, they will have that to fall back on. You see, the seed has been planted in them. And as they go through things in life in their teenage years and the hormones kick in and all that kind of stuff that the body goes through, they'll still have that seed planted that he will be able to access them, okay? So it's very important that we only bring out the positives in people and not the negatives. Most time people bring out the negatives because they're trying to build themselves up.
Yeah, it's true.
When you have somebody that's talking about somebody else and they're talking them down, they're only doing that to build themselves up. It's like, the analogy he gives me is like crabs in a bucket. If you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, okay, and one will try and crawl out, and as soon as he does, all the other ones are on his back, and they pull him back down in because they don't want him getting out of the bucket, okay? And it's the same if you're living in a situation where he's giving me where like people that are low income, okay? Society takes them and plunks them all together, okay? Now, if you're living in that situation and you try and better yourself, all the people around you, they're going to criticize you. Because who are you? What makes you think that you're so good that you can get out of here? We can't get out of here. What makes you think you can get out of this housing project or whatever? What makes you think you can do that?
See, the crab in the bucket theory, when a crab tries to crawl out, the other ones try and crawl out, but they try and crawl out by climbing on the other one's back and end up pulling, they all end up falling down into the bucket. You want to get out of the bucket? Do your own crawling. Don't be crawling on somebody else's back.
You see, because the better that the more you're making yourself better, makes them look bad. Makes them look like what they really are because they're not motivated to do anything. So you can't let somebody else's opinion stop you from growing. Okay? And so that's that negative. When an insecure person will always put somebody else down because that's the only way they can build themselves up.
Yep.
Okay? So that's just not a good thing, right? So I know
But even when you see that, know that some people that do like that know that they have an insecurity that they're hiding. Okay, so they're not always as strong as they appear to be.
Started off with secrets, and you just led into that. So the thing is, there are no secrets. So when you're criticizing somebody under your breath, or you're talking to somebody about somebody else, just remember, he knows everything. And unless you want that done to you, you don't do those things to others. It goes right back to you do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Okay? That doesn't mean they're always going to do the good things you do. Even if you do good things, that doesn't mean they're always going to do good things. But the thing is, you're only responsible for your actions. Okay? And the more good that you do, the more good that will come to you. Because he sees.
I'm going to read something to you right now. It's a good opportunity. I think this is pretty cool. I'm going to read this, take this opportunity to just butt in here and read this, okay? This was done by Mother Teresa. Check this out. It's called You and God. It says, people are often unreasonable, irritable, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give your best anyway. In the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. Pretty cool, eh? Mother Teresa. Let's carry on.
What you're doing. He knows your heart. He knows your intent. Okay, it doesn't matter if you stumble because he knows your intention. He knows that that's what you desire to do. So even if you stumble, he's not going to hold that against you. Okay? Now, another one I got here is, and I just got these as I was leaving tonight. I had no idea what I was going to talk about tonight, right? Another one is gratification, okay? We live in a world of instant gratification. We want it now. I don't want to wait for it. I want it now. I want it today. And that's what people do. They'll go out and they'll buy something, can't afford it, okay? But they'll go and buy it because they want it because we live in a world of automatic gratification. You see, you need to learn how to live under delayed gratification. Because if you want God working in your life, you're going to have to recognize delayed gratification because it doesn't happen in your time, it happens in his time.
Right.
Okay? So that's where the patience is and the faith in God. When you ask him for something, you know he's going to come through with it.
Yeah.
You just don't know when. But you know it will be in the right time. Okay? You know, people... I'm going all over the place here. I don't know why. This is all the stuff that he's giving me this week. He's just sort of piecemeal together because there's separate tapes on all of this stuff, okay? And so these are like overview tapes. because when I'm by myself, I can get into more detail with him because he's talking on one topic, okay? But here it's like they give you a whole bunch of stuff just to get you interested. Oh, I want that tape, I want that tape, I want that tape, I want that. I want you to listen to all the tapes, okay? So it's people will criticize somebody else for...
Again, the only reason I want you to listen is for your benefit. I'm not asking you for anything. I'm not asking anybody for anything except for your comments of things that are keeping you from believing. That's what I'm interested in, okay? If you've got something, you got extra funds or something that you have that you can give away, give it to somebody in your area that can need the assistance, okay? And do it without anybody knowing it, because God says what you do in private, He will reward openly, okay? So if you've got something, give it to somebody else. All I want from you is for you to listen to this stuff for your benefit.
What they have. You know, it's like it almost goes to jealousy, but he called it something else. I don't know if I can remember what it was, but anyway. So you've got your next door neighbor, you know, he buys a new car, and all of a sudden, man, who's that guy? You know, he's got a new car. Who does he think he is? He got a new car. You're only jealous. Right? It's under covetousness is where this came up, under when I was doing the commandment on covetousness. And he says, you know, so you're criticizing somebody because they have something that you want, okay? But the thing is you don't realize, do you want what goes along with that? Because people look at other people who have big houses and they have cars and they've got the four-wheelers and they got snowmobiles, and they're saying, well, who they are, got all that stuff, who do they think they are, what makes them think they're better to have all this stuff? Do you want everything that goes along with all those toys?
I don't think so.
The bills? People think that these people are walking around with all kinds of money. They don't have any money. It's all on paper. They've gone out and they bought all this stuff on credit, most of them. I mean, there's some people who have money. Usually people who have a lot of money, they don't go buy that stuff.
Yeah,
they're too busy trying to protect their money.
Yeah.
Okay, they're too scared to lose that money, so they won't spend it. Okay, so there's another problem, because you hold money, and money sitting in the bank doesn't do anything. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help the economy. It doesn't do anything. It's just a waste of time sitting in the bank. Okay? And so then you have the other thing where people will go out and buy things because the neighbor has it. I remember years ago, and I don't know how this happened, but I got this boat, okay, and I paid $100 for it. The guy next door didn't know that I only paid $100 for it, okay? So he went out and he bought a boat for $2,000 because I had a boat, okay? And I just sort of laughed it off, you know, I didn't think there was anything to it. And then I went out and I picked up a trailer for $100 for it. So what did he do? He went out and bought a trailer. It was like everything I bought, he went out and duplicated. But the thing is, I paid cash for mine. He went out and paid credit for his. Just to try, I don't know why he was trying to keep up with me. I don't live a lifestyle of somebody who wants to follow. But any little toys that I was getting, he had to go out and have the same toy, right? It just didn't make any sense to me, right? Especially when I found out that he went out and charged it. I said, and he won't say his name. I said, why are you doing that, man? Like I said, oh, because I have a boat and a trailer, now you want one? You know, like, why are you comparing yourself to me, right? So anyway, a lot of times people don't realize is that those people are in debt. And as soon as one of them loses their job, then you see just how happy that stuff has really made them. Okay, you know, Microsoft the other day laid off 18,000 people. 4% of their workforce. 18,000 people they're laying off.
That was 11 years ago.
18,000 jobs out there to replace that? Not likely. Huh? And not at those salaries, no. So those people in the technology industry, they make big money because in the last 10, 20 years, that's been the boom, technology.
Yep.
So we've even had it here with RIM. Okay.
Talking about that, you want to check out the video on the computer generation. That's a good one for young people because they have no idea what this world was like before they came into technology. They were born into technology, and this gives the young people give me a good response on that as it gives them a different perspective.
Try and replace those jobs. You see, technology has brought it to a point where now they don't need the technicians because the technology runs itself. Okay? It's the same as banks. Remember when they came in with the automatic bank teller? And all of a sudden, there was no tellers in the banks. At first, there was no tellers until they realized people want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So now we have the bank machines and the bank tellers, okay? But see, technology, even though it's good, it erases the need for a human. But you know what the funny thing is about that? These companies, you see, they're all profit-based, okay? Their whole game is to make a profit, okay? So what they do is that they lay off. In order to increase the profits of the company, they'll lay off a certain amount of management, a certain amount of supervisor, and a certain amount of regular employees, okay? But the ironic thing is they still expect you to buy their product so that their margins can go up.
Yeah.
So they're getting rid of you, but they still expect you to buy their product, okay? Because that's what it's based on. See, it's all about them. They couldn't care less about you or me. You are a number. I mean, they don't know how many kids you have. They don't know what sicknesses in your family. They don't care. Because their whole interest is the bottom line. Okay? So this delayed gratification is, you have to understand delayed gratification when you're asking God for things. Now, sometimes he asks real fast. Okay, you can ask him for something big, you get it tomorrow. Wow, that's great, but it doesn't always happen that way. Okay, I mean, I've waited 35 years to do what I'm doing right now. Okay, and the last 2 years I tried to push it. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. I tried to bring it out because I knew it was so important. But see, that was me. So those 2 years, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure did.
but I didn't accomplish what I wanted to. But as soon as he opened up the door,
Yeah.
then everything starts to get accomplished. You see. And so I had to learn a lesson. I had to go through those struggles, but I learned a lot through it.
Yeah.
Okay, he never ever deserted me, right? He let me he
Gave me the opportunity to teach from my experience, didn't it?
let me beat my head against the wall until I realized, okay, I'm trying to do it in my time, not his. He's got a plan, and now he has proven that plan. You see, he's proven it to me by opening up this ministry. So now I won't run into that again in the future. You see, it's the same as this ministry we were talking earlier, okay? It doesn't matter how many people show up. You see, my job is to speak. His job is to build the ministry. It's not up to me to build this ministry. It's up to me to speak, record, put it out. He will build the ministry. I have no idea what YouTube's doing right now. I have no idea how many people are being touched by that video. I have no idea. I know last time I looked, there was 51 views.
That's referring to a video I did, the very first one I spent live, and it was covered by a YouTube radio station at the last moment. I had no idea. I thought I was going to be talking to a couple of friends, and ended up going worldwide, and that had 50 views in the first week. And at that time, that was a lot, I guess. That was an hour and 30 minutes or something like that. And I haven't been able to find that video. I'll find that video because there was a lot of prophetic stuff mentioned in that video the very first time I spoke live. And so that's what it's referring to there, is that that initial video that I first did when I first put my face out there.
Okay, on that video on YouTube. Okay, and we were talking the other day. That's a lot. That's a lot of views for around the world. Now, I have no idea, and I noticed that on there that I don't know if the like and dislike was activated, okay, because there was nothing in that area, okay, but still 50 views, that shows me he's working it. Whoever's watching that, I don't know where they're from or anything, right? And it's the same as these recordings. I just pump these recordings out to anybody that will receive them, just put it out there, and he will make it land where he wants it to land, because people are looking for this. I've talked to people on a one-on-one basis on a lot of these topics over the years, and they get it when I'm talking to them, okay? And people that have been coming to these, I talk to them on a regular basis, and they're getting a lot out of these recordings. That's great. You see, I don't need a full room in order to speak his message, because he has his way of getting it out. This right here is a great training, okay? Because we're going down to Boston. Okay, we're going to a church that has 2,500 members, and I'm going to be speaking in that church. So this is like a training ground.
I'll make a correction on that. That was the plan, but it wasn't the Lord's plan, because they wouldn't let us across the border at that time to get in. So, but he had other plans. He had other plans to take the time that we had put aside to go down there. And so that was a biker church that They said they had 2,500 members, and they were when we come down. They said to me at the board. They said the man that ran the church. He says, coming across the border, he says, you should have told them that you were an Islamic terrorist. Then they would have let you across. I was trying to get down and speak there and go to a family reunion, and something I'd done 40 years ago in my life, they wouldn't let me go across. But that was the Lord's plan. That was I had a message on that. It was called Grace at the Border, because he gave the grace. Could have got real upset about it, but I didn't. He gave me grace. But anyway, that was the intention.
This is getting me used to speaking in front of people and allowing him to flow. Imagine if it was the first night and I was there. You know, you're stage fright and you start knocking, right?
Maybe,
you know?
maybe,
but see, I've come to
not.
learn to trust him. I didn't know what I was going to talk about tonight. He picks the topics. I just speak what he puts into me. You see, and that's what he's trying to bring me to that point, is don't worry about what you're going to say.
That's right.
If you do, that's you.
Yeah.
You see, if I'm worried about what I'm going to speak, that's me. And I run up against that. I mean, today I was thinking, well, see, what am I going to say? I have no idea what we're speaking of. And he says, that's right. Oh, okay, thanks. Okay, and that's how short the conversation was.
Yeah, well,
okay?
true.
I said, I don't know what I'm going to speak of. He goes, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so I've learned to that, and it's comedy. You know, it's comedy because it makes me just say, how stupid am I? To think that he's going to leave me hanging in the lurch? No. He's not going to leave me hanging in the lurch. He's going to give me the stuff as he wants. So he didn't give me this stuff until just before I go to talk. I looked at the list. He said, talk about this and talk about this. And he only gave me those two subjects last night. Okay? Of the secrets and the delayed gratification. Okay? Really important point stuff. Because people don't understand when they do those things, the ramifications it has for you and for other people. Okay? So, it's important to, when you're asking God for things, it's in His time. And that's called delayed gratification. You know it's coming. He promises to answer. I mean, as long as you're asking for things that are in His will. Okay, and I say this on my other recordings, you know, don't be stupid. Don't ask for things that you know that aren't in His will. Okay, because you're not going to get them. Okay, but if it's in His will, and it's things that you know that He wants to provide for you, He will. But He'll do it in His time. And listen, I could tell you thousands of stories.
Yeah, good too.
It's like every month, I don't know where the money's coming at the end of the month. I don't even worry about it anymore. This has been going on for so many years that he's showing, you know, what are you worrying about money for? Have I ever let you down? No. Not once.
Nope.
Okay? And I mean, some of you know what I've gone through in the last few years. You know, the fire, the cancer, the septic system going, the well going. Those stories are on the other tapes. You know, I love the one about the well, where the bank tried to prevent giving us the extra money to pay the bill, and we got the loan for the well that was $14,000, and when they dug the well, they only had to go down 125 feet instead of 4,000 or 400. So the extra money that we initially trying to get, that the bank tried to stop us from getting, we ended up getting because the well only cost $5,500. So we had over $7,000 to pay the bill. Now what the bank tried to prevent.
That's right. True
They
story.
couldn't prevent God from doing it.
True
You
story.
see?
Yeah.
And those are true stories, and they're important. He says they're important for me to tell these stories because they're true.
Yeah.
And this is how He works. He works in mysterious ways. But you have no idea where it's coming from. But He is faithful.
And you know it's coming.
Right? And once you experience this a few times, you go, why would I doubt Him? He's already proven it. It's not a coincidence. That's one of the biggest deceptive words on this planet is coincidence. Because that's how God operates.
Yep.
Right?
Mysterious ways.
Mysterious ways.
Yeah.
So if you look at it as a coincidence, you're not giving Him credit for it.
Yeah.
You see? There is no such thing as a coincidence when it comes to God. Okay? So, because you'll miss how He works in your life. So, we got a little bit more time here, because I'm going to try and save this one, I think, for the radio. And, yeah. And so I still put this one on here, football. I still have.
That radio I'm referring to, my messages were on back in, starting in 2013. It was about 7 years, I think. It was on 2 different platforms. One, twice a day, 5 days a week on WATV radio out of the United States. That was in about 250 countries. And then I was on SoundCloud in over 200 countries. And never received one negative comment. Most common comment was, I'd never heard it that way before, but I understand perfectly well what you're saying. So I'm hoping that has the same effect on you.
figured this one out, what this football's all about, right? Hasn't got me to talk on that one yet, right? Let's see. Let me see what I got here. Oh, okay, here's a good one. Don't accept what you do. When you're doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing, don't allow yourself to get away with it.
Yeah, it's true.
Don't allow yourself to get away with things you know you shouldn't be doing. That's your flesh.
Yeah.
You see, and I always say the battle is between the spirit and the flesh. Okay? But people allow themselves to get away with things that they know aren't beneficial to them.
No secrets.
And they usually just write it off, so, oh, that's my human nature.
Not anymore.
You know, they'll write it off to something instead of grabbing a hold of it and saying, I'm not going to let myself get away with this anymore. That could be anything. It could be gossip. It could be anything that you're doing that after you do, you go, oh, why did I do that? Now I feel terrible because I know I shouldn't have done that. You see, you're letting yourself get away with things that you shouldn't be. And how that's happening is you're in the flesh. See, as long as you're in the flesh, you are open to attack. Because when you're in the spirit, and what I mean by that is that, you know, it doesn't mean you're on your knees all day, but no matter what you're doing, God should always be there. He should always be present.
Always be aware that he is ever present. That's why there's no secrets. So if you walk in your daily life knowing that there's no secrets, that he sees and hears and observes everything, that can help you keep on that straight road to life a little easier. Knowing. Yeah, no, he's watching me.
Okay, when you're going into a situation, you think, okay, what would God do in this situation? What would Jesus do in this situation? Okay, and when you start asking yourself those questions, he's going to give you the answer. If you go into a situation and you ask God to say, what would Jesus do in this situation? Yeah. He's going to tell you. Yeah. He's not going to leave you hanging. Okay, but you see, we don't think of doing these things. You see, we try and handle them on our own. That's the flesh. Then you're open to all the attacks that the flesh has. Okay? You see, Satan can't get at you when the Spirit of God is in you.
That's right.
Satan cannot enter where the Spirit of God lives.
He'll try.
Okay? So as long as if you're going in your daily life and you're doing those things, say, well, how would Jesus do this? How would you see, Satan can't get in at you because your mind's on God.
That's right.
Your mind is in the Spirit.
Yeah.
He can't enter in.
Yeah.
Okay? That's a given. That's a guarantee, okay, that sin cannot live. Satan represents sin, and sin cannot live where the Spirit is. Okay? It just cannot exist in the same place.
Not at the same time.
So it's important that you don't let yourself get away with the things that you're allowing yourself to get away with. Okay? And I think I got time for another short one here. I'm going to do it quickly, and it's called stinking thinking. Okay? Oh, I want to cover that one that you gave me, that CRAAP sometime. But I think I'll do that by the fireplace. That's a really good one. Okay? But stinking thinking. You got to get rid of your stinking thinking.
That's right.
Okay? Stinking thinking is usually can be categorized as criticism.
Yeah. Gossip.
Okay? Criticism against others or criticism of yourself.
Yeah.
That's one of Satan's biggest things, for you to criticize yourself and tell you that you're not worth anything. And that you're not as good as the person next to you who's all dressed up, you know. Don't judge a book by its cover. Lots of people out there look real pretty, but deep inside, there are no secrets.
All dressed up, do you know where you're going?
So don't judge people by their appearances, okay? Has nothing to do with who they are, okay? When I'm looking at you guys, that's not who you are. Nope. You're not who I'm looking at, you're inside. And it goes the thing about the car. If I go get in my car, I don't become a car. I become me in the car. Okay, so instead of judging people on the car, look in the car and see who they are. Okay, don't judge people by their looks. Okay, don't judge a book by its cover.
That's what they do with the Bible.
I'm going to end this one here right now. And like I always say on my tapes, if you're not getting what I'm saying, you need to be in His Word, and you need to take Him with you, because you will never understand His Word unless you take Him with you to show you what's in that Word. Okay? You'll only get Bible stories and history lessons. So I'll leave you, and we'll talk to you next time. God bless you.
Well, there you go. There's another one. Boy, I tell you, I'm enjoying this stuff, because this is the information that he gives. Your perspective of thinking will change if the more you listen to these things. But anyways, I can't forget to do these things everybody tells me. Like, subscribe, comment. I'll say it again. I'm interested in the negative comments just as I am as the positive ones, because this is all about clarity. Okay, so and by you doing those things, it's able to get it out into the algorithm so that these messages can get out. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of messages that are going to be coming. So I'm doing my part. You do your part. That we can help together. We can help him get some of this information out and give people a different perspective on how to look at things and learn a little bit more of who he truly is. And you should be in that word. That's where he speaks to you. So with that, God bless you. I hope you and your family are under his wings. And until next time, God bless.